In this month's episode of Parkland Profile, we hear from the Black Student Union on Black History Month, a recap of the annual Mr. Parkland Show, and investigate the Wordle phenomenon. Good evening, Parkland. Today is Friday, March 4th. I'm Callie Seckler, and welcome to Parkland Profile. February was Black History Month, a recognition of the history and accomplishments of Black people in the nation and around the world. We spoke with the members of the Black Student Union about what the month means to them.
Black History Month to me means a celebration of Black culture, putting a spotlight on the numerous contributions that African Americans have made in the world, as they often go unnoticed and underappreciated in school and across the world. It's a celebration of the history of Black people in America and around the world. But not only do we look at the past, but we also look at how we can take the contributions from the past and apply them to our future, about how we can become a safer, more inclusive, and diverse society.
I think Black History Month should be celebrated by recognizing and appreciating how much of our daily lives are made of Black contributions to society, making a conscious effort to learn about Black historical figures as well. As we learn about George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, we should also tell the whole story of American history. The Martin Luther Kings and Frederick Douglasses of the past are equally as important. It is also a recognition of the struggles that Black people face in the world and taking active steps and doing what you can to be a part of the solution for injustice.
I started the Black Student Union in my sophomore year. I saw how much underrepresentation of the minority students in the school there was. There was no real recognition of Black culture in the school, so I decided to create a safe space for Black students to become more part of a community. But as it continues, I realized that Black history did not just concern African American students, but rather everyone should take an active role in learning Black history. It's an integral part of American history, and we as students should learn how to navigate and appreciate every culture for all it is. I think supporting the Black community means not putting one culture over another. There are many contributions that the Black community has made to society in the media and politics and all areas of our everyday lives. Taking steps to make yourself actively more supportive of the Black community includes simply just being more self-aware. If you see anything, make it a part of your daily lives to challenge it and make certain steps in order to correct these injustices against our society.
Thanks, ladies. We're sure you've heard of the internet phenomenon Wordle, but if you haven't or perhaps want some more information, here's news correspondent Chloe Chase with some facts about the popular site.
Unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard of the hit game Wordle. I'm news correspondent Chloe Chase. Let's break it down. I'm sure you've read or seen the news about Wordle, or maybe you're an avid Wordler yourself. But what you might not know is that just a few months ago, the game only had a few dozen players. Josh Wardle, a software engineer in Brooklyn, knew his coworker loved word games, so he created Wordle, a play on his last name. It began with just him and his friends, but quickly turned into a friendly competition between him and his family. After seeing its popularity, in October, he decided to release it to the world. By the beginning of November, just 90 people had played. Just 2 months later, the game had more than 300,000 players. People seem to enjoy the simplicity of the game. If you're unfamiliar, here's how it works. Players get 6 guesses to guess a 5-letter word. Once a word is typed in, the game tells you whether or not any of the letters are used in the word and if they're in the right place. The word is changed every 24 hours, and players build up a streak every day they guess it right. Yes, it's that simple. And that's what keeps bringing players back. The game is simply colored blocks over a black background. No ads, no sign-ins, no pop-ups. When Josh was originally creating the game, he had a list of about 12,000 words. However, most were obscure and would be too hard to guess, so he had his fellow coworker and friend who he created the game for sort through the words. Yes, all 12,000 words. She narrowed the list down to about 2,500. However, some words like rebus have riled up the Wordle fans, saying that it was too obscure. We are currently on Wordle 245, meaning we have about 2,200 left, so enjoy it while it lasts. Josh Wardle has gained major recognition from his hit game, and it became a content goldmine on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. So much recognition that the New York Times purchased the game late last month. While they haven't released how much they bought it for, sources say at least $1 million. Many say that the New York Times actually made Wordle harder, with a surplus of obscure words shortly after they purchased it. However, they released that they haven't made it harder, and are in fact looking to update the list and remove some of the more obscure words. That's all for today, Parkland. Keep on Wordling.
Thanks, Chloe. Speaking of tech, here's news correspondent Ethan Silver with another installment of his tech news.
Hey Parkland, I'm high school sophomore and diehard tech enthusiast Ethan Silver. This is what you need to know about what's happening right now in the world of technology. We're starting off this month's tech news with the February 2022 Galaxy Unpacked event. Samsung announced their next Galaxy lineup with new phones and a brand new tablet. The flagship phone this time around is the Galaxy S22 Ultra. The most notable aspect of the phone is its resemblance to the discontinued Galaxy Note lineup. It has an S Pen that can be stored in the phone itself, and a squared-off design with a huge 6.8-inch screen. Samsung also announced their two other flagships, the Galaxy S22 and S22 Plus. As per usual, they come in two sizes, a 6.1-inch and 6.6-inch screen respectively. We're not seeing any monumental leaps, but instead some needed polish on an already great phone. Next, let's talk about the Galaxy Tab S8. It's got a great display with, you guessed it, a notch. I mean, first we see it on the phones, and then the computers, and now tablets. What's next? A notch on my smartwatch? And no, that's not a challenge. The S8 features better S Pen support, better processing power, and better cameras. Its screen sizes are also especially exciting because you can get anywhere from an 11-inch screen to a 14.6-inch screen, which is bigger than some laptops. All of these new devices from Samsung really show promise, and it's going to be interesting how their competition responds. Speaking of competition, iPhone and Android messaging services have been the source of a lot of controversy as of late. It may sound trivial, but let me explain. Instead of using standard SMS texting, Apple has decidedly made things difficult by creating a service called iMessage. Don't get me wrong, iMessage has tons of benefits, from larger file attachments to Game Pigeon. It's brought a lot of dynamic features to instant messaging. However, it's only for people with iPhones, and those people get a blue bubble. If you're in a group chat with an Android phone, your bubble will be green. The strategic reason why this exists is to allow Apple to create an ecosystem around their products. A lot of people, whether they realize it or not, will stay with their iPhone because of the convenience and inclusivity of iMessage. And that's not very good for other phone manufacturers. Google is fighting back with a technology of its own called RCS, or Rich Communication Service. It's a way to deliver that iMessage experience on all platforms instead of just Apple's. And look, if you do have an iPhone, try not to make fun of those green bubble friends too much. In other news, New York City Mayor Eric Adams received his first of 3 paychecks to be paid in cryptocurrency. The move is to show that New York City is driving the future of crypto. But dropping Bitcoin value is also driving the cryptocurrency market down to their new lows. It makes you wonder, what's next? Getting paid in NFTs? Don't answer that. But you can make sure to answer today's Wordle. And thanks to an acquisition of a little over $1 million by the New York Times, we might be seeing some shifts to the ever-popular daily puzzle. For starters, fans have already noticed that the words for each day have already changed thanks to digging into the site's code. Although the Times said they won't change too much about the game, there's no telling what they'll do later down the line. And Wordle wasn't the only thing recently acquired. Apple bought an AI music startup to boost Apple Music's artificial intelligence. Plus, in the gaming world, Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard, which is most known for their Call of Duty games, at a cool $68.7 billion. Soon after, Sony bought Bungie, the developers for the Destiny game series, for $3.6 billion. Who knew that video games could be so competitive? And that's it for this month's tech news. We covered the Galaxy Unpacked event, a color-coded controversy, new efforts in cryptocurrency, and a number of game-changing acquisitions. I'm Ethan Silver, and thanks for watching.
Thanks, Ethan. Last month, the class of 2022 held the annual Mr. Parkland event, where 10 senior boys have the chance to compete for fame, glory, and scholarship. If you missed the show, here's a recap of the night. That's all for tonight's episode. Tune in next month for more. Signing off, I'm Callie Seckler. Have a great evening, Parkland.